What it is, you guys, it is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Drama Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping, because you got to hold your breath for justice, to see justice before all fades to bleak. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, coming through today, October the 6th, 2025. I don't have a long time because it is my second day off. I spent all yesterday going to visitation. Marcello, my husband, that is wrongfully incarcerated. If you have not met me, I am the legally blind artist that is fighting with all of my art forms to get through all my dark storms and to bring attention to my husband's wrongful conviction case. It was with hopes of breaking his story and then gaining help from somewhere, because the help is going to come outside of myself, because when you're in a situation like this, it's nothing you can do on your own. You really do need people fighting with you and fighting for you. So I've carried the mantle, on my own for over 20 years, 23 years now. He's been wrongfully incarcerated. His birthday just passed. He spent his 24th birthday, 24 birthdays from age. He turned 21 in prison, and every birthday following, 24 birthdays later, he is still in prison wrongfully and has about another 10 to 12-ish years to go on his wrongful conviction. So I advocate. That's what I do. That's been the biggest part of my freaking life every day that I wake up, from the age of 21 when this happened to my family. So that's my introduction. That's why it says I'm the OG prison wife, because it's been a very, very, very long time. Much longer than I thought. I thought that I could surely break his story in less than like 5 years, and then he would be home and we would be back together. Life did not work out like that. I had advocated all that time, but I spent most of the time trying to, like, most times I tell the story, people just say I'm lying, or I'm making excuses, or I'm just playing victim, or there's no way that can happen. So I'm like, okay, they believe there's no way, so let me prove it. That's when I started basically researching wrongful convictions, and basically opened up a whole rabbit hole. And I started covering others' wrongful convictions, because I started realizing that as I listen to their stories, I literally hear myself. It's my story as well, of my husband. It's the same things. It's no different. And then I just realized how much it happens. And I just started saying that if my fight is not going to lead to my husband being free, maybe my fight can lead to really just proving to people that, hey, they happen too often. We need reform. We need this system to be changed. Allegedly, it is not giving us justice, and therefore, because we are not receiving justice, it's not giving you the safety that you believe that you're getting from this system. That's why you uphold it, most likely. That's why I used to uphold it before I found out the truth about it, because I thought it keeps us safe. They put the bad guys in prison. I didn't know they put the good guys and innocent guys in prison and the bad guys in prison. And many times, because it's a willing dealing game, they let the bad guys back on the street so they can commit more crimes while putting the good guys in prison. So it doesn't work the way that we believe it does. So that's what I spend my life doing, trying to break his story. I am an excellent artist and really should be spending all my time creating artwork, but until my family's whole, I can't peacefully create artwork, right? It feels like one or the other, and having your family put back together seems to weigh heavier on the scale than creating artwork, so that's why it's really difficult for me to create unless I am creating about the subject of wrongful convictions, prison reform, and criminal justice reform, because then that passion comes in and I create things on that subject. It is also why there's such a passion in this channel, because on this channel, I literally get to tell you without you chiming in and interrupting me and cutting me off and telling me how I cannot be telling the truth. I can complete my sentence without interruption and get my whole story out, my whole case out without any objections. But anyways, due to my husband's wrongful incarceration, we raised our daughter together through prison visits and phone calls. So between prison visits, which really, when he's far away, you can't afford more than maybe one visit per month or two or so. When he's closer, you can afford to go a little bit more, right? That could have rhymed if I had said it right. Every month or two or so. But if he's a little bit closer, you can go a little bit more. So in between the visits, you would stay in communication with your loved one through mail, through writing letters. That was my thing, writing letters. But they got rid of that what was that, around 2022? They discarded letter writing after all these decades and decades and decades and decades. My daughter was able to send her little crayon drawings to him. That's a no longer thing for those criminals and those people that shouldn't have did what they did. So now I'm being sarcastic because this is what they say to me. And this is how they justify the breaking of my family, because he shouldn't have done what he did. But y'all heard that rhyme, didn't you? And it was right on time. So my thing was writing. I used to love to write letters. All I did was write. In fact, when I worked at the Super Center, people found out my husband was in prison because all I did through my lunches was write long, long letters. And they're like, I know you ain't just writing somebody that's out here free. What are you doing? Your boyfriend in prison? And I'm like, yeah, I guess it gave it away, because all I used to do was love to write. I used to write. Until I ended up with carpal tunnel and I could barely write a sentence, and then I ended up having carpal tunnel surgery and I was able to hold a pencil again. But letter writing, and then along came emails. I can't type. I have severe carpal tunnel nerve damage. I can barely leave comments, though I comment, but they take me so long. I tried the voice activated thing and it says a whole paragraph of jumble. It's not even what I'm saying. And even if it does kind of translate, I spend so much time editing it that it makes no sense. So it's very hard to email him. So between that, you would have the overpriced phone calls, about $5 a call, which is very steep. And it can add up fast. It can add up really fast, but it's quick communication, right? You're missing him. He calls, accept this phone call from Marcello. And then you go ahead and press the button. Sometimes you press the button, and it won't answer. Y'all know how they do. But you press the button, and then instant gratification. You're speaking to your loved one that you can't speak to when you feel like it. You can't just roll over and say, hey, babe, I love you. You can't say, how was your day? You can't just come in the house and say, hi, honey, I'm home. Can't tell them about how the kids were when you dropped them off. You can't none of that. None of that. So that instant phone call that goes so quickly, seems like you just got on it, and then you got 1 minute remaining comes on, and then it don't even feel like they give you a full minute. And sometimes they'll say you got 1 minute remaining, and then they'll interrupt you again and say you got 60 seconds. I'm like, okay, so what was the difference? You just want to keep talking over my call. But I think that mainly happens when you have very little on the phone and you had enough for like 1 or 2 minutes, and then it'll just keep talking over your minute. But it don't even feel like it gives you a minute when it gets that remaining, minute balance. But yeah, so that's how we raised our child together. Monthly visits, weekly calls, and a bunch of letter writing. Me writing him, our daughter writing him when she was able to write, when she learned how to write. So from 9 months to she's now 24, that was our family, trying to keep our family together. And me also advocating while being bashed for advocating. A recent thing is someone left saying that what a waste of time or something like that. What a waste of life advocating for a criminal or something like that, they said, not knowing it was neither of our faults. It definitely wasn't my fault, definitely wasn't my child's fault, and it definitely wasn't even Marcello's fault. We're just in this situation and we're really desperately trying to get out, but there's no help. It's like being in a whole trap and there's no door to get out. You're in a trap like basement, or you're just trapped. You cannot get out. There's no way out. You've looked for every window, every crack, everything. You have turned over everything to try to get out of it, and you can't. So you just try to survive it. You try to figure out, how can we get through this time? And that is how we were able to get through this long, impossible sentence. Okay, so we did go to visitation yesterday, and now we raised our child through prison visits. Now we're grandparenting through the same prison bars, the same camps. Matter of fact, my husband is back at a camp. We have grandchildren. One is 3 and one is 1. We have 2 grandchildren that we visit with, and the last time Marcello, because he's been locked down so long that he's starting to be back at camps that he was at before, right? Because they try to move him around because they don't want him to spend too much time in one camp. But when he was there the last time, our daughter had just turned 16 years old. So now, rather than just visiting with our 16-year-old, we're visiting with our daughter that is now grown, a 20-something-year-old that has her full life. She's in nursing school and she's working and she got 2 kids. And then we also have our grandkids that we are, visiting with. And they were so excited to see their grandfather. We're definitely taking them to visit because that's just such a joyous thing. For me, being a grandparent is so fulfilling, especially because I guess, I don't know, maybe I'm taking it in a wrong way, because I was not able to finish my family because my family was kind of cut off at the root before it can even put our roots down. Having grandkids feel like having kids, like more of our kids. They're extensions of us. And it feels like grandparent together is that part where we were just hoping and wishing that he can come home so we can complete our family. Well, with the grandkids, it feels complete, like we're completing our family. Probably could have had one more child if he came home like tomorrow, but it doesn't even look like that is going to happen. So my shop will be closing down whenever God sees fit. But then Sarah, you got to remember the story of Sarah, girl. Sarah laughed. I'm finna have a baby. Who? And then she sat up there with her old, she said, he old, I'm old. How we finna have a baby now? Now that should have happened a long time ago. Like, for real. If it was gonna happen, it would have happened by now. But we really don't know everything that God has in store for us. So God may have plans for me to have another baby. Who knows? That would be, but I I had desired it so much that I had to let it go. Sometimes you hold on to things so tight that I had to let that go. And I made amends with not being able to have no more children because I am staying with my husband. I am faithful. There's no conjugal visits in Florida, so no babies. And I don't have Remy Ma type money, right? For Papoose and Remy Ma. So I can't do the little situation they did, though. That would be so awesome if I could have. But I don't have the money for that. But now we're visiting with our grandchildren, and they got to go yesterday. My granddaughter, okay, so my husband was really close just a few months ago. Really close, where we were visiting him every weekend, and my granddaughter looked forward to that. He sits, he builds blocks with her, he colors with her. Matter of fact, I think that's him now. So, oh, I don't have no money on the phone. I ain't got no money on the phone. I be out here just looking all wrong. All right, y'all. Let me call GTL. We'll finish this up. I literally ain't got no money on the phone. All right, guys. It's your girl, Cadillac.